Good morning. Sean Nettleton here, People's State Bank out of Newton, field agronomist, crop insurance manager, also Twin Rivers Ag here at Lawrenceville. Wanted to do a quick video this morning talking about soil sampling. It's fall. The crops are coming out at a rapid pace with the dry weather, and so I've been getting some calls, some questions, and even seeing some things in the field regarding fall soil sampling. And so I kind of wanted to, I guess, throw my hat in the ring as far as give my opinion on what I'm seeing and what may be best practices for this year. So right now, this morning, we're standing in Lawrence County. This is a sand field here in Lawrence County. It's been planted to wheat, so it's been worked corn stalks, been worked a couple times. You know, really what we're seeing is we're seeing some soil sampling outfits out there, and honestly, they're trying to beat soil moisture probes or excuse me, soil sample probes into the ground with sledgehammers and all those different types of things. And so let's talk about some best measurement practices. I've got my soil probe here. Like I said, this is worked sand ground, and you can see right off the bat that I can shove that in to about 1 inch. Now I could use stand to lose a little weight. I weigh about 210. I'm jumping up and down here. You know, I'm not getting that probe in the ground at all. You know, and I'm not gonna, I got two things that concern me. That's about as deep as I could get, and most of that's the fluff from where it's been worked. So there's a couple things here that concern me with what we're doing. When I see these samplers that they're pulling is one, how in the world, whether it's a heavier ground or not, with the lack of rain we've had, I really feel like we're to the point now where we're as dry, at least in this part of Southeast Illinois, as we were in 2012. How do we expect to get a consistent core sample? And you can see that I'm not, you know, in this instance, an automatic sampler. I've got an automatic probe, and I'm seeing videos of guys breaking those right now because the ground's just so hard. So we can't get a consistent core. The other thing is we base a lot of dollars worth of input decisions based on soil samples, and so if we're going to do that, we're really going to struggle to get good and accurate data. The things I'm looking out for are potash numbers or potassium numbers on a soil sample. You know, a lot of that becomes available when we get some rain and it flushes that from the stalks. When we've had no rain, we're not going to get that flush. And so what I'm afraid of is guys that soil sample this fall in these dry conditions are going to see situations where whoever's writing their recs are going to be calling for astronomical rates of potash. And I think what we've seen with our soil and tissue sample programs that we're doing is those kind of applications just don't pay for us. We struggle with building, and I think sometimes we throw too much potash out there and we don't get that bang back for in return. The other thing to think about is pH, right? So if we're going into extremely dry soils, my belief is that our pH numbers could be vastly wrong. Without flushing this soil with water, we could be holding on to some high salt levels or higher salt levels in the soil, which then affect our soil pH. So let's say you've got a soil pH of 6 and your lab comes back and says your soil pH is 5.5 or 5. You know, that's going to be a couple tons of lime that's not cheap that you're going to be recommended to spend, and quite possibly we just don't need to necessarily make those applications. And so right now I know that we want to make input decisions and we want to get things ready for spring and get off to the right start. But in my honest opinion, I think the best thing that we can do right now is, irregardless of what your guys are telling you, my opinion is we're going to wait this thing out. We're going to wait for some rain, and then we're going to sample like crazy. Yeah, we may be a little bit behind going into spring, but if you're going to base, you know, $100 an acre or more on that decision, that data provides you, I really think the best bet to do would be to wait this thing out and get some rain and flush these soils of salts, get some decay flushed out of these stalks. And maybe if we have to, we'll use a tissue sample program. It's what we're doing anyway. We're using a tissue sample program to really fine-tune our soil results anyway. So we're gonna fine-tune that throughout the growing season, and we're gonna try to make recommendations as we go, and really get our nutrients right in these things. I think that the days that we're learning of just throwing dry fertilizer out there and expecting that to take care of our crop, I think what we're learning through intensive sampling programs, both soil and tissue, is that's maybe not the best way to go going forward. So if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out, but my thoughts on soil sampling in the fall of 2020. Thanks, have a great day.